Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true. Security forces crush plan to parade dog paw's body. Police and soldiers yesterday crushed a plan to parade the body of slain gangster Christopher Dogpaw Linton through Tavern and neighboring communities in St. Andrew, ahead of his interim at Dovecot Memorial Park in St. Catherine. The heavy presence of law enforcers began Thursday night when a wake held for Linton was shut down and many of those in attendance, including members of his family, were taken away by the police for processing. Thursday night's action created tension that carried over into yesterday morning as livid residents and members of Linton's family expressed disgust at the treatment they received. They claim that lit candles at the wake were kicked over by police and people in attendance, including senior citizens, were roughed up and shouted at by cops who they said used obscene language. One woman reported that not even music was being played Thursday night when the security forces arrived. Yesterday morning, one man said, "Them come and kick over the candles them, and say if we put up any more, them go kick out with teeth. Even when you call their superior, it's the same result. I think the funeral will have to be postponed because of the operation Thursday night. The community can't feel good about that, I need to find out if there is a law that says we cannot light candles. They need to cut out the foolishness. I think it is something personal against him." Despite some delays and uncertainty, the funeral got underway inside the chapel at Dovecot in the afternoon with more than 50 relatives and close friends in attendance. Leah Tavares Finson, the mother of one of Linton's children and daughter of Senator President Tom Tavares Finson, walked into the chapel with a bottle of Heineken beer. She was teary-eyed throughout the majority of her tribute to Linton, whom she described as very loving and caring. "There is no amount of Heineken I can drink to prepare for this. I have known Christopher since I was 17 years old. We have a son together, and we have had relations in various capacities over the years. One of his favorite things to say was, 'Oh, my days.' I never stopped hearing that for 18 years, she said. When the phone rings and I answer it, all you hear is 'baby mother,' and you would know it is some request. He was such a loving, caring and giving protector. He was my protector till death and protector of the children, even my youngest child," Tavares Spencer said in reference to a baby she shares with dancehall artist Javalante. "We are going to miss him. This is a great loss to Tavern. No matter what anybody says, he was an amazing guy. He loved his community with all his heart. He loved Tavern. He lived and died for Tavern. People always want to understand how I ended up with Chris, but sometimes I think to myself, how did he end up with me? For 18 years, he was my best friend. I told him everything. Anytime I had to tell him anything that I know he wouldn't approve of, I just swallowed the cussing and then take maybe a 2-week probation of him not talking to me," she said. Linton's girlfriend Crystal, who delivered the eulogy, said, "Though times and seasons change, your memory remains forever in our hearts." She said that Linton, who was born on September 30, 1986 at the Victoria Jubilee Hospital, was raised in a humble Christian home along with his brothers. He enjoyed playing football, attending Sunday school, and watching cartoons. She said the cartoon he loved most was Pawpaw Bears, and his friends would often tell him that he resembled Dogpaw, one of the cartoon characters. That led to him being given the nickname Dogpaw. He was known to his peers to be loving, kind-hearted, friendly, and a jovial individual, which undoubtedly made him a lot of friends. He had a passion for nature, which inspired him to become a proud member of his school's environment club. Christopher was very much involved with his Christian beliefs and decided to get baptized at the age of 10, she said. Linton, who police say was involved in several serious crimes before he was sent to prison, and continued on that path after he was released in April of last year, was shot dead by cops on John Golden Road in Elliston Flats on October 11, 2021, in what was reported a firefight with police. Safer roads in 2022, says Lucian Jones.
480 precious lives that have been lost to the nation's roads. What is the problem and what can we do in 2022? What can we do differently? The main reason why we have had this significant increase in deaths on our roads, over 9% compared to last year, has to do with the huge increase in the number of motorcyclists who are in Jamaica. In 2012, when we had a record low of 260 persons dying, 41 of those were motorcyclists. This year, 160 motorcyclists have died. And when you add to that a 20% increase in the number of private motorcar drivers, then you have a recipe for disaster. So we have had a steady increase in the number of motorcyclists who have been dying since 2012. And we have also had this significant increase in private motorcar drivers. So what can we do differently in 2022? First of all, we need to get the fundamentals right. You can't expect to have a deficient, non-functioning deterrent system and expect people to drive carefully. That's not how human behavior works. All over the world, you have to put in place measures that when people break the law, when they drive too fast, when they drive carelessly, when they drive without a helmet, there's a penalty. There are consequences. And human beings react better when you have consequences than when there are none. So first of all, we have to get the implementation of the long-awaited New Road Traffic Act done in 2022. And the information is that certainly by the end of January, we should have that new bit of legislation in place. And along with a new and efficient ticketing system and the demerit point system, then if we get all those three working, then we can make a big difference. But that's not enough, because as we say in road safety, there's no silver bullet. We have to implement also what the Prime Minister of Jamaica, who is the chairman of the National Road Safety Council, has endorsed. We have to put in place the safe systems approach to road safety, which is gaining favor across the world, and in many jurisdictions, it has resulted in the significant reduction of deaths on our roads. So safe roads, safe road users, safe speeds, safe vehicles, and an efficient post-crash system make up the safe systems. So for example, in respect of safe roads, we have to make sure that what the WHO has recommended, that Jamaica and other countries have at least a 3-star road rating. 0 being the worst and 5 being the best. So we need to assess our roads, and there are institutions, both local and international, that can help us to do this. Because when you have safe roads, for example, those roads on the north coast, what we call white roads, when during rain, it becomes extremely slippery and very difficult to drive on. The number of potholes that we have across the country, where people are swerving from, and some have died because of it, that needs to be fixed, and fixed urgently. You need to have safe road markings. You need to have catch signs that people can see at night time. The safe speeds is also a critical, important aspect of the safe systems approach. In fact, it goes to the heart of the safe systems approach. Because if people drive slower, the data is there that a 5% reduction in your average speed can result in a 30% reduction in road fatalities. That's huge. And if we put in place the provisions under the New Road Traffic Act, using cameras to detect red light infractions and speeding infractions, then that will go a far way. Safe road users. We have to get people to wear their helmets. Most of the motorcyclists who are dying are not wearing a helmet. We have to get people to wear their seatbelts once they go in a car. That's a problem with a lot of the private motor car drivers who are losing their lives. And passengers too. They're not wearing a seatbelt. So we have to get the fundamentals right. We have to get a system in place that when somebody crashes, then we get emergency management team, medical team, to move them quickly, safely, and to hospital that can make a difference. We also have to get the National Road Safety Council properly funded. We need dedicated funding to the tune of about $100 million so that we can carry out the necessary high-level, high-quality public education campaigns that are necessary. We also need to get a proper management team in place where you have a group of people who can bring their own minds and ideas onto this serious national problem. Road safety cannot or can no longer be the Cinderella. We are accountable for this. We are second leading cause of violent death in the country. Homicides being the first, road fatalities being the second. So if you get all these things together right, some of them which I mentioned and some others, 2022 can be a better year than 2021. And 2021, with already 480 people dead, has been a disaster, an absolute disaster. It never had to happen. It should not happen in 2022.
Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.